Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the Crown Tundra Guide series with Regirock. This is one of the Pokemon that kind of got brushed off as a not very good Pokemon at the beginning of the format, but now is continuing to see more and more play. Currently, it's sitting at number 32 in monthly rank this month, which is actually very good and comparable to a lot of other high-tier Pokemon, so that's pretty good. This Pokemon has a couple of different ways of play now with, Dynamax having Weakness Policy Dynamax, which a lot of Pokemon seem to use. You also have things like Curse and Trick Room, a lot of different routes for this Pokemon to be good, and we have two builds today, so we're going to cover a couple of those routes. This Pokemon is very, very naturally bulky with a 200 base defense, so it's very, very physically bulky, but then it also has 100 special D, which isn't bad, and if you supplement that with Investment or Assault Vest or anything, then its special D is very, very tanky as well, and then HP at 80 with Investment and Dynamax is very, very good. This Pokemon all around is very bulky, which makes it great for a Weakness Policy Dynamax Pokemon, as well as even a cursing Pokemon, just sitting there using Curse and then Trick Room and then super powerful. We've seen that with things like Curselax, we've seen that with a lot of Curse Pokemon in the past, so that is cool. This Pokemon has Clear Body as well, which is very solid, not being able to be lowered stats by your opponent or really by anything. So you have your Bulldoze as well, which is cool, and then you also have things like Intimidate that you just get by, Max Wormwind, Max Strike. You have a lot of interesting things that this won't get weakened by, and we've seen Clear Body being great on a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Regis, we've seen it on Dragapult, a lot of Pokemon Clear Body is very, very good for. Rock typing is not bad for this Pokemon. Of course, you do have 5 weaknesses, which is a little unfortunate, but kind of good for the weakness policy, honestly. It's not bad, and having no quad weaknesses is pretty good too. Rock is also pretty offensively good in this format, hitting a lot of super effective on a lot of big name Pokemon, being able to do a lot of damage to Glastrier, which is commonly known as the Pokemon that you can't really do damage against. It's really solid. Rock is a good typing for this Pokemon. Definitely. I mean, it's a Regirock. Of course, it's a rock type. Anyway, that is about it. Let's talk about the stats real quick. So I talked about the bulk. Attack stat at 100 is not bad, but it makes it perfect for weakness policy because it's just low enough to where all the bulk is very good. So, you have low, or you have pretty middle attack, but really good bulk, which makes it great for weakness policy because then you have really good bulk and really good attack, which is really good. Special attack, we don't care about it. And speed at 50 makes it great for Curse or Trick Room, or even not bad without Trick Room. It can actually get pretty fast with a Max Wormwind, or Max Airstream, or Tailwind, or, Thunder Waving your opponent's Pokemon, anything like that. Actually not a bad speed tier to be at. Icy Wind, Electro Web makes this Pokemon, very customizable. You can use it in Trick Room, without Trick Room, with Curse, a lot of different options. So, overall, not bad. That is about it for the overview. Let's go ahead and talk about the move sets that I have for this Pokemon today. So I actually have 2 builds. The first one is going to be the Weakness Policy Dynamaxing build. Nothing too special here, nothing too fancy. Pretty straightforward. We have Clear Body as the only ability, the only good ability anyway. Or a very good ability anyway, so why not? Weakness policy is very good. As far as the EV spread goes, it's pretty basic. Just 252 into HP and attack, and then the leftover 4 into special defense, with Brave Nature being as slow as possible and being as strong as possible. Just doing as much damage as possible. That is kind of this whole Pokemon. We have things like Rock Slide for stab, and then we have Earthquake, Iron Head, and Protect as the set that I made for this Pokemon today. The Earthquake and Iron Head both give you a great max secondary effects as the max attack, being able to supplement your physical defense and special defense of this Pokemon and its partner Pokemon, which is very, very good. So that is about it for the weakness policy build. Let's talk about the other build here today, which is a little cheeky, but we see Quick Claw. We saw that on the last video that I made, the Taiwan regional report, the regional meta-analysis video. We saw a Regirock getting top 16 that was using Quick Claw and Curse. So I thought that was really cool, and I've been playing around with that a little bit, and it's very, very solid. Quick Claw takes a lot of games where you shouldn't win, but you have Curse and Trick Room to make every game that you should win, you actually win. It's very good. You have Curse plus Body Press, which is very solid, and then you have Rock Slide as well, so that is great. This Pokemon can make for a great Dynamax as well, mid to late game after a couple of Curses. It's really, really good. Once you get a couple of threats out of the way, you Curse up, and then they have really no way of dealing with this Pokemon, and then your Body Presses are insane. It's very good. I like it a lot. Same EV spread here as well, just 252 into HP and attack, and then 4 into special D, and then Brave Nature. You could maybe go a little bit more into special D as well, maybe some more educated damage calcs, but what I've been playing around with this was really all I needed. It felt really strong. Once again, 0 speed as well, so 0 speed IVs and Brave Nature, just to make it as slow as possible, since you're cursing up anyway, so you might as well get it as slow as possible, so after 2 curses, you're outspeeding everything, and it's looking pretty good. Anyway, that is it for those 2 builds. Let's talk about some customization options. So, first off, we have Stomping Tantrum. If you're using Earthquake and you don't really want to have the multiple attacking method, you have Stomping Tantrum, so that if you want to single target down a Pokemon and don't want to max it, you have another option. Now we also have Drain Punch if you don't want to go for Body Press, or you just want to have an attack on like the first set and aren't already using Body Press. Drain Punch is good. You have a lot of coverage options, as you can see. Heavy Slam as well if you don't want to go for Iron Head. If you want to go for that, Iron Head does. They actually both offer, I think, the same max move damage, but if not, then it's close. And then we also have Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch. All 3 are great options for coverage. If you need coverage on your team, this Pokemon has a pretty deep move pool of good physical attacks that can be used in other places, places. Whatever, any word of those words. Anyway, that is about it for those customization moves. Now we also do have a couple of items that are really good as well. Also notable mention is like Leftovers. I've seen a Leftover set recently that I thought was pretty cool, and yeah, I think that's really it. And then the Life Orb and Assault Vest that I have here. You could try like Choice Band if you don't want to max it. So that's a couple of other options as well. Yeah, that's a lot of a good bit of options as well. So pretty cool stuff. Next, we have our 2 synergetic Pokemon. First off, I have Tapu Fini. You don't want to get burnt as using this Pokemon, because with this Pokemon, if it gets burned, it's doing very minimal damage, or if it gets burnt, it's taking away its weakness policy. So you definitely don't want to get burned. Sleep and paralyze, all are very good as well. So Tapu Fini removing those statuses, or preventing those statuses, is very, very good. Now we also have Pokemon like Dusclops, things that can set Trick Room. Dusclops in particular is very good because you can activate Trick Room, and then your Brick Break or Bulldoze will activate Weakness Policy, and it's slower than Regirock, so even if you attack with Regirock, then you use Dusclops. So you set up Trick Room, and then the next turn you attack with Dusclops and then attack with Regirock. So it works perfectly. You can also use something like P2 or Cresselia if you want, but then, it's a little bit harder to self-proc Weakness Policy. Dusclops just works for it perfectly, in my opinion. So that's why I have Dusclops. Makes sense to me. Anyway, that is it for the builds. That is it for this section. Let's move on. So next we have our speed tiers whenever it loads. Okay, so speed tiers. I said loads, weird. Leads. Anyway, so we have speed tiers. So 49 is what we are at with Hindering Nature. It's pretty fast compared to all these other Trick Room Pokemon, but after a curse, as you can see there, we're below the 36 and above the 31. We hit like 32 decimal points, whatever stuff, but about 32, 33. So after a curse, we're hitting a good position, and then after a second curse, we're even slower than Dusclops. So you have a couple of different routes to go there, but if with curse, then you're looking pretty good on the Trick Room aspect. If not, then you're going to be up here at Hindering, which you're outspeeding all of these Pokemon initially, but after Trick Room, you're getting outsped by all these Pokemon. So if you're using a Regirock team, and you play against a hard Trick Room team that has things like Gastron, Clefairy, Hatterene, Dusclops, Torkoal, Ferrothorn on it, then maybe you want to not have Trick Room up. Maybe set Trick Room to deter Trick Room, if your opponent activates Trick Room and then you're just like, hey, no Trick Room, because you reverse it. It's a long thing. Anyway, Regirock has a pretty mediocre speed tier. It's just a little faster than every Trick Room Pokemon. It's slower than every other Pokemon, so it's not that great of a speed tier to be at. But Curse makes it cool. Curse is cool. Quick Claw's cool. We have these things. Anyway, that is it for speed tiers. Let's move on to the damage calc portion of the video. So we have 3 offensive and 3 defensive. We're going to start with the defensive ones. So first off, we have Choice Banded Urshifu with 252 attack investment. Close combat into Dynamax Regirock, hitting 44 to 53, which only gives them a 35% chance to 2-hit KO. And also, if you don't Dynamax, they also only have a 35% chance to OHKO into a non-Dynamax Regirock, which is still a pretty good percentage and something I probably wouldn't take that roll for, but it's still there and it's not bad. Next, we have Tapu Fini Max Geyser, Calm Minded, Boosted, and 204 Plus Special Attack. That's currently the most used spread on Pikalytics, so 204 Plus. And then +1 from Calm Mind. Max Geyser into our Dynamax Regirock, hitting 75 to 88. That is a lot of damage, but don't forget that is also supplemented by Calm Mind, +1, and then it's also special attacking, so it's into our weakness, which is special attacking, because base 200's defense is absolutely insane. Next, we have Heatran Max Quake from 252 plus attack, or special attacking Heatran Max Quake Dynamax into a Dynamaxed Regirock, hitting 43 to 51%, which is an 8.2 chance to 2-hit KO, which also gives them an 8.2 chance to OHKO the non-Dynamaxed Regirock. So overall, not too insane of damage, but also, you have a chance to live their Max Quake when you're not even Dynamaxed. That's crazy. Next, we have our three weakness policy offensive calcs. So all of them are with weakness policy, not cursed. They're not, minimal attack. They're all +2 with max attack, the weakness policy version. So +2, 252 plus attack Regirock Max Steel Spike into the 236 HP for defense. Once again, this is the most used currently on Pikalytics spread. We are hitting 68 to 81% into the Tapu Fini, guaranteed 2-hit KO with a lot of damage. That is good stuff. I know it's a 2-hit KO, but it's still a lot of damage on a Tapu Fini that typically, is on the field for a good while. So a lot of damage, good to know. Next, we have Regirock Max Rockfall from +2 to 52 plus into a Dynamaxed Glastrier with max HP investment and 0 defense investment. We are hitting 78.7 to 93.2, a guaranteed 2-hit KO into the Dynamaxed Glastrier. And yes, that is Dynamaxed. My bad on not having that there, but it is the Dynamaxed Glastrier, and being able to do that much damage into a Dynamaxed Glastrier is insane, because that Pokemon's bulk is off the charts, especially physical bulk. It's very, very bulky, so having your strong Max Rockfall into it is huge. Next, we have +2, 252 plus attack Regirock Max Rockfall into a 252 HP, 28 defense investment Incineroar, hitting 211 to 250% chance, a guaranteed OHKO without weakness policy, and a guaranteed OHKO into a Dynamaxed Incineroar, most likely, with weakness policy. Huge stuff. Easily take down Incineroars. They can't even intimidate you. Incineroar is an easy matchup, so awesome stuff. Anyway, that is it for the damage calcs. Let's talk about Single Spotlight real quick before I end this video. So, Single Spotlight, I don't think this Pokemon is that strong in singles, to be honest. Losing Toxic is pretty weak. It used to be able to just sit there and use Stealth Rock and then Toxic and be able to break down walls really easily, but while being very, very physically defensive. But now that we lost that, we kind of just have to use spread moves and stuff like that. So, Rock Slide, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, a couple of other options there if you want to customize depending on your team, with Stealth Rocks, Leftovers, Clear Body, but we're still going all into defense, physical defense, having 252 plus Impish Nature, and then 4 into attack, and then 252 in HP. Still walling out all of these physical attacking Pokemon, especially ones that don't hit it for super effective. Regirock just sits there and eats all the damage. It's very good. Set up Stealth Rock, do a little bit of damage every now and again, as well as dish out 0 damage, or your opponent dishing out 0 damage, and just eating that damage and then eating leftovers every turn. It's good stuff. Unfortunately, we did lose Toxic, though, which is it is unfortunate. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really does a huge difference. About 30% of the people that watch my videos are actually subscribed, so, click that button. It makes a big difference. Anyway, in sum up, I think Regirock is pretty solid. Actually, I think it's a really good Pokemon in VGC. I just think it needs the correct positioning and a correct team to support it. I think the Curse build is really cool, as well as the Weakness Policy build. Weakness Policy is definitely easier to use and more generic, but I think the Curse build could really be strong on certain teams. Anyway, that is it for the video. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you have a good new year. Happy New Year's. That's tonight. Might have already happened depending on time zones when you see this video. I have no idea if you're seeing this video on the 3rd of January. Who knows? Anyway, hope you have a good new year. Hope you have a good week. Goodbye.